Heads up, it's the Roll Jays podcast, the voice of the Creighton basketball fan. With your hosts, Jimmie Allen and Casey Matthews. Join the crew and meet CU players, coaches, and a whole lot more. Now, the Roll Jays podcast. Here's Jimmie Allen.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome into the Roll Jays podcast, brought to you by Pepper Jack's Grill and Pyramid Contractors. The aforementioned Casey Matthews is finally with us here. Obviously, Creighton bounces back in a big way tonight, Case. Creighton wins by 39 points, 84-45 over Maryland Eastern Shores. A very slow start to this first half. The 2-3 zone, gave the Jays all sorts of fits in that first half. They got really aggressive offensively in the second half, and it made the world of difference in the second half of this game.
Yeah, and we got a couple of transition baskets, which I like to see. It was nice to see Josh hit that one. I think it might have been the first half, actually, in transition. But, yeah, I mean, look, you have to. You can't – when it comes to playing against the zone, I mean, the whole point of, in a lot of cases, playing the zone is to get teams off a rhythm, get their timing off offensively. And if you sit back and just play ring around the rosy on the perimeter, you never create an advantage, and you never can really take advantage of the zone. So, yeah, I mean, you have to get aggressive like that and make things happen. So it was good to see. I mean, we'll have to talk. I mean, Coach Lou's going to come on. We'll talk to him and get his thoughts. This is one of those games where I'll be interested to see what he takes from it, because this is one of those games that, like, you know you're going to win, and you should win big like we did. I'll be interested to see what he felt about the execution. There are some things that I felt like there's a reason why you're up 35 or 40 with 2 minutes left and Owen Freeman's still in the game. Yeah. Okay. That's not because you think he's got it all figured out. So that's something I'm going to have to ask. There he is.
Speaking of which.
Okay.
Great assistant coach Jeff Vanderloo now joins us here on the Roll Jays podcast. Coach, thanks for taking time on a busy evening to be with us.
Oh, I'm certainly glad. Always glad to see you too.
Well, you don't got to lie to us, but we appreciate you being here anyway. Coach,
he needs it. He needs it.
Amen, brother.
Hey, rough first half, obviously, but things look like they were clicking on all cylinders in the second half. What was the difference in the adjustment at halftime?
I just thought maybe we played with a little bit more energy, and we kind of maybe wore them down a little bit in the first half also. I mean, we keep running dudes through there. It's hard to play at that pace forever. And when we get them 47-22 in the second half, pretty good number. They turned the ball over a few times, things like that.
Yeah. Lou, I think, first of all, I think it's important always, no matter who you play, no matter how big you win, to just celebrate the fact that you won. You get – 30 of these guaranteed a year.
Yep.
You want to enjoy the ones that you win.
Yep.
However, this team this year, the expectations, the goals are big. And so I think you have to go into games wanting to accomplish something other than just win in a game like this, right? What were the things that you guys, after that Gonzaga game, said, okay, we need to walk out of the gym Friday night feeling like we figured out, and then you fill in those blanks for us?
Well, I guess the first thing that we've been harping on here for a week or so is we lack physicality. And so, I mean, we're trying to get better at that. We understand we have a whole bunch of new guys playing. And because we have new guys, it's going to take a while for them all to kind of start fitting in, understanding their roles and things like that. And, I mean, where our postman, where does Owen Freeman want the ball? Well, maybe that's not where Karam wants the ball, or certainly not where Jason wants the ball when he's in there at center. And so depending on who's in there at center, it kind of, we need to flow better. And our offense needs spacing. We need to move the ball and just overall. But one thing, back to your point of celebration, Mac, the big thing before, the thing was celebrate your teammates. I mean, that's kind of, I think everybody right now is so hung up on, where's my role? What is this? What is that? Rather than let's just go out and play our butt off, and good things are going to happen.
The last two guys you mentioned there, Karam and Jason, are sitting at courtside getting ready to talk to John Bishop right now, and I think both of those guys had absolutely great nights, more specifically Karam in that second half and Jason throughout the whole game.
Right.
What has been the growth of Karam Conan since he's got here? Obviously a guy that comes into the process late. but seems to be figuring it out at a very quick pace.
He's certainly figuring out. He gets better every single day. There's no doubt about that. But it's some of it's a little bit of language, and some of it's just flat out confidence. That we sometimes I think he's better than he thinks he is, and with that body and that athleticism, he should be able to do some damage. And it's that hopefully that thing's Big East ready, and we still have to get more of a flow when he is in and kind of understand. He did a really good job of sealing there late, and we got him the ball there. And that's one way that he wants the ball. Of course, that Jason never wants the ball like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You mentioned with him, you said language and just getting more comfortable. I think communication is something that I've been trying to watch the best I can, and see where guys are talking and pointing, and you can pick up on those sorts of things. I feel like that's an area where we desperately have to grow if we're going to achieve our goals.
No question.
What are you seeing? And I know, obviously, being there, I know what a big deal it is to Mac. But it just feels like Mac is having to coach this team more. It sounds weird, but it's right. He's vocally.
He just told the team there right after the game. He said, we have to spend so much time at our practices coaching enthusiasm, coaching communication, coaching all of those things that I've never really had to do before. And some of it is we just have a bunch of really nice guys, and they're quiet. We don't really have that alpha dog kind of guy, and so it's some of it's growing, some of it's getting more comfortable with each other, and honestly, some of it is knowing what needs to be communicated and how to communicate it. Case hey, we black ball screens and then we red ball screens, or we're tonight we went into a 1-3-1 zone a couple times, just things like that. And even that part of the communication, somebody needs to make sure that everybody out there has that done. So, I know that we all miss Ryan, and Ryan was a very good leader and got us where we're supposed to, but Steven was phenomenal at getting everybody where they were supposed to be and making sure everybody knew what we were running, what defense we were in, how we were going to cover the post, and things like that. Now, how we covered the post back then was go ahead and try it, boys.
We saw Jason Green in several different roles tonight. He had a couple 3-point shots. He played under the basket. He played the 5. He played the 4. He played the 3.
Yep.
Does it feel safe to say that he is the most utilized player on this team right now?
Well, yeah, and I guess the great thing about Jason is he doesn't get hung up on things like starting or not starting, and he's there for us to win ball games. And when everybody gets that exact attitude that we're all there to win ball games, good things are going to happen. And that's Jason's an ideal teammate. When you like Max spoke at Hilltoppers last night, and he said one thing about Jason, he's really the only person on our team that what you're going to get from Jason every single night. You know that if you're in black ball screen coverage, he'll be in black ball screen coverage. If he's running the 3, he'll be in the right spot. If he's running the 5, he'll be in the right spot. And he's around the glass, and he's just got a great knack.
Yeah, that's funny to hear you say that now, Lou, because being there when his first day on campus, he's just come such a long way. You can see it. And what I think is interesting is nowadays everybody wants the instant gratification,
right?
And it's like people are expecting to be the finished product on day one. And I think Jason's a great example of a guy that just bought into the system.
Yep.
When I look on the court and I see guys like Josh and Owen, who specifically I'm going to call them out because the NIL era is what it is. People know they're making a lot of money. Our fans, myself included, sometimes I feel like I want that finished product right now too. And I have to learn to be patient and trust that they're going to improve throughout the year.
Yep.
What do you see from those two specifically? And how can a guy like Jason, how can a guy like Mitch Ballock, how can Jeff Vanderloo, who's been with Mac for years and years, help them understand that there's a finish line, but you got to get there?
Right. And the thing about both those guys is they are great dudes. I mean, we've had great dudes in this program, and they're right up there with them. And that's they want to succeed. Now they're a little bit different in that Owen has been out since probably last February when he had his finger surgery, then he had knee surgery, and he's really only been back for about 3 weeks. So that's actually Coach Huss at the end of the game. There's probably a minute and 2 left. Owen dove for a ball, and Coach Huss like, get him out. We don't need that damn thing hurt again, So, and it's Owens is more of a, he's just got to play more and just get the feel of things because he'll play with good energy. He's just he hasn't played in a long time. I mean, none of us have probably played in a while. If we went out there, we probably wouldn't be a finished product.
I wouldn't.
Josh, yeah, and Josh Dix is Josh is a good player, and he's such a nice kid that he needs to stop deferring, I think, and become the alpha dog, become the guy.
Do you think he can be like I've said this? Somebody's got to. We need somebody to step up and be a leader.
Yeah, there's no doubt, and they all lead, and like Jason is a good leader, but he's not really very vocal.
Right.
And Josh is a very hard-working, good dude, but he's not very vocal, And Nick Graves, kind of the same, not very vocal. And that's where we've really tried to push some of it was to Nick Graves because it's always nice to have your point guard doing that type of stuff. But that's just he's probably the quietest. Him and Josh they're just quiet guys. They've come a million miles. But they still have a million in that area. They have a ways to go yet. Now, can they do it? Absolutely. And are they very good players? Yeah, they're really good players. Yeah. I mean, you just don't come into a quality Big East program and start and not be a good player.
This may come as an absolute shock to you, but when we had Huss on after the South Dakota game, he wasn't very happy about the productivity. And I had to remind him that you guys won. He didn't seem to care about that much. But obviously, when you win by 39 points, there's a lot to unpack from a positive and a negative standpoint. What was the most positive thing to reflect on tomorrow when you guys watch this film?
Well, I guess I thought our offense at least started to look like, the guys were cutting 45 degrees like they're supposed to, or sun's cutting and things. And the ball went to and got to post guys where they wanted the ball and things like that. And coming out of that Gonzaga deal, what we really need to do is get our confidence back because they gave it to us. Let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah. It's funny you say that, Luke, because you mentioned Owen being in late in the game. And it's been a bit since I've had to know some of these play calls, but I think guys might have ran like 5 reverse.
5 comeback. He got a pin down there. Yep.
And I felt like that was on purpose. Like Mac had him in the game to run that set because you're trying to teach him. And is it more of a timing thing, or is that more of like I need you to buy into this is how you're going to score. Like, like what were we trying to get across there?
Well, I think what we're trying to do is show his teammates if you'll throw him the ball down there that he can score, which I think all of us agree. and then we tried to get him in a position where he's good, and he's good in that area. And if he'll do his work ahead of time and we can get him the ball there, great things are going to happen.
Such a good point.
Well, yeah. One thing we try to work on with Owen and really work on with Owen a lot is down on the defensive end, just stay on your feet. We just stay on your feet, stand up there, and we work and we work and we work. And about the very first trip down the floor, he jumped up in the air and he used to not know when he did it that he did it. Now he knows. It's getting to the point like, yep, I jumped, I left my feet, my fault. So it's. Now that that's another step. Now we got to take another step of not jumping up.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it'll come. It'll come.
Since you're on that, Jimmie, let me ask a follow-up there. Like the fouls, okay?
Yep.
Forever we haven't fouled, and it's still, I don't know, it's not going to be a problem. But I did notice some more hard hedging on ball screens tonight, which you and I both know can lead to some fouls. You're going to get some naturally with that.
Yep.
Is doing that more, I mean, it could be a lot of things, but is it more of a trust in the fact that you have Conan and you have Jason that can play some 5 if needed?
Yeah.
Or is it more of just a necessity of we need to like force our pace and force the way that we want to play.
Yeah, it's also so Owen again missed all summer, and he has never we call the drop coverage, we call that black, what Ryan Kalkbrenner did all the time. He's never blacked ever in his life. So it's kind of it's a hard feel of right when you switch, we call it veer when you switch, and when to veer, when not to veer. And Owen and Karam, they both want like a hard line, like this is when you do it. Well, there's not a hard line. It's like
it's a feel.
You've got to do it enough times that you go like, now's when I should do it. Now's when I should do it. And we did have a really good veer with Karam tonight and Dix, and Josh jumped into his guy and tipped it out of bounds. And so it's getting better. Is it a perfect deal now? Nope, it's not. It's probably not going to be here for a couple more weeks. The sooner we can make it a perfect deal, the sooner we're going to be good.
You're good with that?
We're catching up with Creighton assistant coach Jeff Vanderloo here on the Roll Jays podcast. Coach, I know our fans are probably sick of me mentioning this about waiting and things developing, but I feel like you just kind of spoke to that a little bit more. What is it about the defense at Creighton that sometimes you broke down a lot of offensive sets there? What is it about the defense sometimes that takes guys, whether they're 4-year transfers or true freshmen coming in, that makes it take them just a little bit longer to get in rhythm and understand the system?
Well, I don't want to pick on Nick Graves, but I'm going to. So because
we'll post this on Twitter and tag him in it. Go ahead.
Yeah. So we talk about the centers, and the centers have to figure out when to black and how to black. Well, so do the guards, because in drop coverage, you're coming over the top, and I'm sure all our fans are like, yeah, I've seen those guys come off that ball screen and knock down 14-footers all the time. Well, a lot of that is if Nick Graves gets caught in that ball screen a little bit, then he's late getting to that guy. And tonight, I think didn't the guy go 6 for 6 for them because he was late. One time out of those shots, he did a very good job, got up behind the guy and came from behind. And that's when that is what we want. That's a very hard shot, shooting a 15-footer with a guy coming from behind on you. Yeah. And so while it seems like that should be ball screen stuff should be the post, it's also with the guards. And another huge difference is when you are in black ball screen coverage or drop, nobody helps. Those other guys stay locked on. But all of a sudden now we start trapping it or doing red, which is what Owen is very good at that. And Karam moves pretty good too. So they can do that, and kind of brings us back to how we used to play with Christian Bishop. We used to do that kind of stuff all the time. And then somebody's got to tag. We have to have somebody stay under the basket to help take that postman that rolls. And all of that, again, in theory, as we sit and talk about it, you're going like, well, yeah, that shouldn't be any problem at all. And it is. It's new guys. It's new talk. The center's got to be screaming when he comes out, we're in red, we're in red, we're in red. Well, that means to those guys over on the side, somebody's got to suck in on the two guys side. Somebody's got to suck in to help. And so that's, I guess people will say, what's up with the defense? Well, first of all, we don't have Ryan, people. We don't have him. And so we're trying a few different things. We're trying some red. We're trying some Jimmer, which is a trap in the ball screen. We're trying a little bit of brown, just kind of just quick show and get back. So we're doing different things, a lot for us so that we can see what works best. But we also, everybody's kind of where they've all came from have done it different ways. And we got to get everybody doing it one way.
That's such a good point, Lou. And I think the other side of that is with, like I said, it was really evident against Gonzaga. And Ike is a very good screener, but our guards hit every single ball screen, which puts Owen in such a bind in the black coverage. That's you're kind of talking about the veers. You're almost forced to veer at that point if you're going to hit every ball screen.
And then you got a guard on. Then you got a guard on Ike.
Absolutely. So. That's good, Lou. I hope people are listening, understanding. Like the biggest thing is you have a bunch of guys that have done it different ways, and now we're all trying to do it the same way, and it just takes time. Right.
And I mean, you've heard it. We've all been around. People will say like, "Oh, the second year is always best for these guys as compared to the first year," and it is because they all understand. Yeah. But we got to get them right now. We got to get them to the second year here in about another week because things crank up.
And some of these dudes ain't going to be here next year. Yeah, for sure.
Sorry, give us somebody that has surprised you this year that is further along than you anticipated.
Well, I guess who I would say is probably Austin Swartz. He's a better player than I thought he was when we got him.
Okay.
He could be a really good player. He has high highs and low lows.
Okay.
But when he is on one of his high highs, it's
pretty high.
He can do some things that nobody else we have can do. We got to get him to play at that high level more. But at practice, we've seen him do it numerous times.
I want to ask about Fedor.
Yep.
Not for me, but it just feels like he's everybody inside of Creighton's Twitter sphere's favorite player. And obviously the reaction he gets when he comes into the game is very noticeable from the crowd.
Yep.
What is missing for him right now that you think is easily correctable?
Physicality, playing hard every single day. And then, of course, he's got to make baskets. That's what he's in there for. That's his deal. That's what he does. He makes baskets, and he needs to make them. But he's got to be his physicality and be not. We expect things out of Fedor that we would like Nick or Austin. We'd like them to do, but we fully expect him out of Fedor because he's been with us for 2 years now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We shouldn't have to be hoping that he does it. We're hoping right now those other guys do it, and if we're going to be really good, they have to do it. And Fedor, we weren't planning on Fedor, as everybody hears. And I'm not sure Fedor was planning on Fedor because when he came back, he was a little chubby, and he's gotten better. He's gotten into shape, and he's
been hanging out with Casey Matthews, who grills too much, apparently.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Hey, you're not getting a better guy if you're going to sit around and grill. Fedor's the top of the line. I love that guy. I mean,
I thought you were going to say my grillings. I was like,
no,
come on, Lou.
Your grilling's high level too, Case. I've been privy to that, but Fedor's he's a great guy. His teammates love him. The fans love him. But you got to be better than the guys you're competing against.
Yeah, it's something too, Lou. Not a lot of people probably know this, but you were so close with Rati,
mm-hmm.
and now you have Fedor. Are there any similarities just in the I guess you know what I'm trying to ask you, like just the person and just the mentality. Are there similarities there, or is it very different?
Fedor's more of an everyday guy than Roddy was.
Okay.
Roddy had high highs and low lows.
Yeah.
And sometimes within this practice, he'd have high highs and low lows. And Fedor.
Sometimes within the same play, Lou, he could have a high and a low.
But when he had his highs, he was pretty good.
Yeah. But he was so great to be around. Like when he was in a good mood.
Good mood.
Rati sees this.
Oh, when he was in one of his great moods, you weren't going to find a funner guy than that.
Do you remember, Lou, when we were at Xavier and Max getting ready to give the pregame,
and he was in the toilet?
He was in the shower.
Yeah, the shower. Yeah.
Oh, he said he was in the toilet. You said he was in the and I was wondering where that was going for a second.
Roddy. That's all I can. That's the best I can tell you.
Hey, I think John Bishop would like me to ask you if you've watched any good movies lately.
Well, I'll tell you, like I tell John Bishop, usually when his talk with the movie starts coming on, I turn it to the other channel.
There you go. That's Jeff Vanderloo, Creighton assistant coach. Lou, as always, we appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.
Lou, tell Mac we said hello when he comes out.
All right, I will.
I can yell to him right now if you want. He's right there.
All right.
That's Creighton assistant coach Jeff Vanderloo. Lou, we appreciate it. This is the Roll Jays podcast. We'll be right back to cap more of Creighton's 84-45 win over Maryland Eastern Shore as we come back on Big East Energy Network.
Why you need to try Pepper Jack's Grill, the best Philly cheesesteak in America. At Pepper Jack's Grill, we craft your Philly just the way you like it. Fresh ingredients, sizzling on the grill, and endless customization options. Not just Phillies, we've got rice bowls, burritos, nachos, and even vegetarian choices. And don't forget those crispy fries with our famous spicy ranch. With 10 great locations in Omaha, there's a delicious meal waiting for everyone in the family. Pepper Jack's Grill, your Philly, your way.
At Pyramid Contractors, we do it all. From repairing or replacing your roof to updating siding, windows, or gutters. When you have a home improvement project, call Pyramid Contractors.
PyramidRoof.com, never settle for less.
Welcome back into the Roll Jays podcast, brought to you by Pepper Jack's Grill and Pyramid Contractors, Jimmie Allen, Casey Matthews. Following up Creighton's 84-45 win over Maryland Eastern Shores at the Chi tonight, Case. And I mean, I don't know how we can point blank put it any more well than Lou just did. Obviously, this team needs to find some aggressiveness. I think it did here in the second half, but it is clear as day, and I mentioned this in the halftime show, that when this team is playing in transition, they look like a completely different basketball team.
Yeah. A lot of times we talk in hoops about your defense leads to your offense.
Yeah.
And there's not very many teams I think that's more evident with than Creighton. And it kind of has been. Like, when we can get stops and get out and run, especially at home, it really makes a difference. It's more fun to play that way. Typically, your points per possession in transition is in the 1.7, 1.8. So you're scoring more. You're more efficient offensively. So
especially if you have shooters like this team does.
Yeah. So I think that's a great point. I think, first of all, that was so fun talking to Lou. I think he made.
We might need to get him on just every single show.
Every show. He made so many good points, and I really hope that people that are listening now and that will eventually listen understand, like, Lou's been with Mac now, I think maybe not his first year here, but outside of that, he's been here almost the whole time. He knows Greg McDermott better than maybe anybody outside of Tree and Mac's kids. So, and I mean that genuinely.
That's Mac's wife for anybody that doesn't know who Tree is. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. So for him to talk about Mac having,
there's some people that might have thought Tree was Ryan Kalkbrenner for obvious reasons.
That could be true. That could be true. That's the big pal. And for him to talk about Mac having to, like, get on guys more and prod and, like, demand more, that's not him just making something up. Like,
that's not him talking to the team through the media either, by the way. That's actually happening. Yeah.
No, and I think it's really important that we understand, like, first of all, this isn't, you don't have Kalk, you don't have Ashworth anymore. Like, you've got to find your leaders. You've got to find the guys that can step up when you got to step up. But it does take time. And I thought the point that he made defensively was fantastic, that you have guys coming from playing in different defensive systems, being told this is how we're going to do it. And so they're all trying to learn at the same time. And typically, like, what's happened in the past is you bring in one or two guys that they've got to learn the system. Really, Jason, yeah. I mean, Jason is he the only starter? Yeah, he's the only starter that
started from a year ago. Yeah.
And then you got Isaac, right? You got a couple guys, but, like,
I tweeted this out from the Roll Jays podcast Twitter account tonight. But this slowly feels like this is becoming Jason Green's team. Like, when we talked to Lou about communication and guys calling things out. And I'm not trying to say anything bad about any of the guys. I'm clearly at the top of the CHI Health Center. I can't say this verbatim. But it felt like when Creighton was in transition or playing defense well, it felt like Jason Green was the focal point of that from a vocalization standpoint. You could see him on the court pointing things out and holding guys accountable for things and timeouts. And I only saw this happen 3 times because I only looked for it 3 times. But every time when a timeout was called, Jason Green stopped everybody from walking off the court and had a conversation before they went over and talked to the coaches. Yeah. So that's probably a point of emphasis from the people above him. But it kind of feels like he's going to try to assert himself as the vocal leader, as we heard Jeff Vanderloo mention that this team desperately needs. Yeah, and I can't tell you how proud I am of him because I'm telling you, when he came on campus, that wasn't him. And when he was at Miller North, they referred to him as the gentle giant. I mean, he just has never been that guy. But how many times have we said that about? I mean, we talked specifically to Ryan Kalkbrenner about that aspect of his personality, but and the difference between his freshman year and his senior year. I think the difference, though, with Ryan is his role was so big on both sides of the ball. And so naturally, when your role is that big, you kind of have a tendency to feel like this is your team because your team is counting on you to perform in order to win. The difference with Jason is we need him. We need him in order to win. There's no question about that. But what's different is that he's not going to really be the best at, I mean, I don't want to say anything, but he's going to be the guy that you just know what you're like Lou said, you just know what you're going to get. You know, you're going to get effort. Number one, that was readily, and it has to be tonight. Yeah. You can't, to me, you can't be a leader if you aren't giving your best effort at all times. So, you know, you're going to get effort, you're going to get versatility.
defensively, right? It allows you to do more defensively. It allows you to switch if you want to switch. It allows you to go black if you want to go black, red if you want to go red, and ball screens. Like him being able to do those things is so important, and it can't be overstated because it does allow flexibility defensively. And then offensively, he knows the playbook. A lot of these guys are still look. We have so many plays. Can't tell you how many.
I mean, you guys labeled 6 before we in a 15-minute time frame with Lou.
It's incredible, and Mac demands that you learn the sets. He goes over them every practice. You've got an app that has all the sets with a play, like an actual play we ran in a game. There's no excuse not to not know the play, but when you've been here for 3-4 years, you've had time to learn them and you know them inside and out. It's important because he can direct things on the court when he's out there, no matter what the position is.
Yeah. Well, and Lou brought up the fact that, just because, Josh and Owen and Nick and these guys just got here, like they're not taking it easy. And that was readily available or evident tonight as well, when there was a really bad defensive set by Owen Freeman and Mac absolutely lit into him on the way off the court. Now, a lot of people might say, well, did you hear what Jeff Vanderloo just said? Finger injury, knee injury, and transfer, and da-da-da. That doesn't matter. You may not be there yet, but the expectation for everybody, we talk about the NIL era and money and how much guys are making, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. It doesn't seem like this coaching staff gives a rip what that is. Your expectations night in, night out, no matter who you are at the very tippy top.
Yeah, and I think if you're a good player and if you're worthy of being in the Big East Conference, you want that. Absolutely. I mean, go back and look at the guys that have come through this system and really been great players, and you see it. They were all coachable, and none of them made excuses. Then you go back and you look at the guys that, and I know I have a little more information here, but you go back and look at the guys that have left the program. Mm-hmm. Those guys looked for excuses, and those guys didn't want to be held accountable.
I mean, I'm going to point out that you left the program, but that's another.
Yeah, but that's a little bit different, Jimmie. Come on,
I'm just kidding.
But that's the difference, right? You're such a punk. Like the guys that want to be coached, they're gonna get better. They are, and I again, it's like, you really have to start worrying when you're not getting coached. And that's when you have to say, what am I doing that doesn't deserve or doesn't warrant a coach coming over to me and trying to help me? Because players know when they mess up. Mm-hmm. That's clear. You can't help but know that when you're on the basketball court. So they know that. So if they're not getting coached, it shouldn't be like, coach doesn't care. Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, if he doesn't care about you, that's probably a very good evident point of where you are in this.
Or system. He realizes that you're going to have no impact on winning. Absolutely.
Well, and I think for anybody that's looking for, I don't know if silver lining is the right word, but like something positive to take away from a 39-point win is that 2-3 zone look that Maryland Eastern Shores gave Creighton in the latter part of that first half caused Creighton to go 2 of 11 from the field in the last 10 minutes of the first half. Was the same exact zone that Maryland Eastern Shores ran in the latter part of this second half, and Creighton blitzed by it without any issue. So there are adjustments that can happen. This team can get better. They can play more aggressively. They are still learning and building the plane while they're flying it. So I don't know if I'm the apologist here, but I just caution everybody, don't overreact to non-conference games, even if it is Gonzaga or Maryland Eastern Shores, because there's still a long, long way to go.
Well, what I'm trying to think of and wrap my head around is because I can't help but read some of the stuff, right? And then I get it. I really do. I mean, the expectations are really high, and people want to walk onto the court and be up 50 immediately. Like, I get that. But
they jumped out 12 tonight. They were up 12-0 to start this game.
But I also think what's happened is that it's gone from an expectation of a team to also expectations of individual players. And so when you're not seeing greatness, we'll just, for lack of a better term,
if it doesn't look the way you expect it to,
then it's like, that's a problem. They're not as good as I thought they were going to be, or whatever. And you start to kind of build a narrative around those things. But really what Matt cares about and what the staff cares about is, what does the team look like?
Yeah.
Or is the team growing? Because what happens is as the team gets better, excuse me, the individual performances will also improve, and you'll start to see more consistency.
Well, I'll tell you this team's not going to get better unless that part gets better, right? Like you can't have one without the other.
Right. And so what you do in these situations, okay, you won by whatever, 30 points,
39.
like that, 39 points. You take the film, okay, you cut out a couple things, but the players aren't dumb. They know that they're supposed to win this game by 40 points. But you use these opportunities to go in the film room and you find the things that were also not good. And you say, okay, guys, I realize that we won, but you've got them in a good headspace because now they've won a game. So now you can go and you can continue to go hard at them, knowing that they're going to respond because, look, it's natural. You're in a better mood because you won a game, right? You think, okay, cool, we got the ship steadied a little bit, and now Matt can really go and nitpick some of these things that he's going to have plenty from tonight. I can assure you of that. Especially that first half, I thought some of the turnovers were sloppy. There's not a lot of continuity yet.
And before anybody overreacts, that like think about what Jeff Vanderloo said about guys still understanding what angle to cut out on the floor. Like think about how many turnovers that alone can lead to.
Well, but that's where, if you listen to some of the interviews with Mac and what Mac's trying to say in some of these ways without actually saying it. And so when you're talking about cutting, all those things impact the timing of your offense.
Yes.
I referenced 5. I messed it up, called it 5 reverse. It's 5 comeback. 5 comeback is a timing play.
We're slowly understanding why you got fired, by the way, but go ahead.
The ball is on the other side of the court, right? As Owen, his son's cutting, he's getting that screen, he's cutting down to the block. The defender thinks he's going to ball side block.
Right.
As the ball whips to the other side of the court, Owen reverse pivots and gets a catch underneath the basket and can lay it in, right? That's a timing set. And if you aren't running it at the right pace and you aren't cutting the right way, the timing is off. And so by the time Owen reverse pivots, it's too late. So that's just one example, but that's why he was in the game there with 2 minutes left and up 40.
I think it's important to think about everything you just explained. And I want to talk to the fan base for a minute, because obviously you being on the staff, people that have covered this team for a long time understand those nuances. Think about how complex is everything you just explained was. Mm-hmm. There was a moment in the game tonight where Jason Green just went to go throw a pass to a wide open Josh Dix, and Josh didn't know to look for the ball and just kept running down court.
Sure.
Like there's issues executing that stuff. Just like nothing against either one of those guys. The timing just isn't there on the court yet together. They get 3 more months of doing this together before it becomes the actual real season, right? So like there is a lot of things that need to happen for this to look like a polished product by the end.
Yes, but I also want all those things that are true, right? And I do have a positive outlook, just my human nature. But I also understand. I understand why people are upset. Or I don't know if upset's the right word, but they're nervous.
There's definitely some people that are upset.
Sure, but like I get it, right? Like, you know, you go out and you get these guys that transferred, and especially I think too the fact that they're from Iowa probably has a little bit added, meaning to it. But you're paying them a lot of money. Like I do understand that. The other side, Jimmie, is this: like the expectations of this team are to be able to produce in March, and it's a lot easier to advance in the NCAA tournament when you have a better seed. And so when you lose a Gonzaga like that, it hurts you there. And so
it definitely matters for sure.
But now you're going to go to the players there after the North Dakota game, and you're going to play Baylor, you're going to play Iowa State, and then we don't know who it is. And those are games where if you win those games, they're going to really help you in your seeding in March, regardless of what happens in the Big East season. Granted, you take care of business the way that you need to. So I understand that there's fans that are like, man, I don't know how good this team is. If you are saying and measuring good off of how far we advance in the NCAA tournament, because then the conclusion you would be able to draw is, well, if we don't have a top 5 seed, 6 seed, which we thought we're kind of penciled in to have, we're not going to be able to advance to the level that we think we should. So I understand that from people. I would just caution you to give some of these guys a little bit more time. I'm not like everybody else. Like I don't think we should be sitting here in December, late December, saying we just need more time. No. Sure. By that time,
but it is November 14th, and I think that's important.
Right. I think you gotta play a few more teams that are going to challenge you, because it's human nature to play to the level of your opponent. I was glad to see we didn't do that tonight, but that is kind of human nature. You have to fight that. You got to fight that. But I think we should take care of business against North Dakota. Hopefully, it's a cleaner game. Less turnovers, especially. And then let's see what we got in the players era. And that'll tell us. That'll really tell us, like, can this team reach the expectations that we have, or do we need to start to adjust those expectations?
I agree. And listen, it's we're not even to where it would have been halftime yet on Tuesday, but we are going to wrap up the show here. This has been the Roll Jays podcast, brought to you by Pepper Jack's Grill and Pyramid Contractors. Thank you to Coach Jeff Vanderloo for joining us. And I thank you to all of you for sticking around and watching. Yeah. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
And thanks for none of weird comments tonight. I didn't see anything up there, Jimmie.
Yeah, I think we painfully avoided them this time, but they're all welcome next time I see it. It's been the Roll Jays podcast.
Why you need to try Pepper Jack's Grill, the best Philly cheesesteak in America. At Pepper Jack's Grill, we craft your Philly just the way you like it. Fresh ingredients, sizzling on the grill, and endless customization options. Not just Phillies, we've got rice bowls, burritos, nachos, and even vegetarian choices. And don't forget those crispy fries with our famous spicy ranch. With 10 great locations in Omaha, there's a delicious meal waiting for everyone in the family. Pepper Jack's Grill, your Philly, your way.
At Pyramid Contractors, we do it all. From repairing or replacing your roof to updating siding, windows, or gutters. When you have a home improvement project, call Pyramid Contractors.
Pyramid.